Page 44, Aardvark Boogie. No, Boogie Woogie. 4/4 time with eighth notes all over the place. 1 and 2 and. Let's start with the right hand. We're still in this A position, except this piece uses a C natural and a C sharp both. Whatever. Oh. But it starts out in right hand, just A and E. 1 and just wrist here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and that's tied. So it's the second measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See, if I play all those notes without the tie, it's this way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But if I add the tie, I'm just hanging on to that 1/8 note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Second line's the same. Third line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Same rhythm as before, just slightly different notes. Let's go over to page 45. The first line we've had, the second line, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Remember it's tied? Again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then the last measure. 1 and. They're saying crossover here. Just crossover. There's other fingerings would be better than this, but we'll go ahead and do what they want. You need this practice at this anyway, so go ahead and cross over. That's okay. Left hand. Left hand, you're down here, starting here, and then you're just using these two notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you're resting on 4. Second line's the same. Let's go down to the last line on page 44. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and rest and. That's pretty much it. There's 45, second line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's the same rhythm as the right hand. And then the last line, you're back to this. Note, that A has an 8/8 under it, so you're going to go down here. It has a fermata on it too, so I'm going to hold it 2 counts instead of 1 when I play it with a metronome. If you weren't playing it with a metronome, then you just hang on to it until it felt right, and then you lift up. Put the hands together slowly. You hear? That sound wonderful? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2, 3 and 4 and. You just gotta love this sound. I just know you do. Let's go down to the last line on page 44. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 44. Page 45, second line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Then the last measure. There is 1 and 2. See, it's a half note in the left hand. You gotta hold it down until you play the G. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And during that rest, you come down. Now you got both G's down. Isn't that wonderful? Oh boy. This pattern in the left hand, that's one of the standard boogie woogie patterns. If you play many boogie woogies, this is one of the patterns you're going to get a lot. This is not necessarily the fingering you'll use all the time, but it use it sometimes. But it's the pattern of the 2 outside and then 2 inside. As far as articulation goes, they have a few accents on there, and that's normal for syncopated notes. It's like the second measure on most of these lines. Let's go back to page 44. You hear? You syncopate that. Accent that one. Because really what we want to hear is just hearing the other note a little quicker. So we accent it. And that's all over the place when you get that. Look at the second line on page 45 here. That one. That's what we expect to hear, but we hear that note a little quicker. So accent it. Dynamic wise, well, it's sort of loud. You don't need to play the whole thing loud. You can get louder and softer. Get to know the music and how you feel it, but overall it's going to be a fairly loud piece. And the speed is cheerfully, whatever that is. It's just boogie woogie. The important thing though is to play it accurately and under control. So you have a speed limit. How fast can you go and still be accurate? And over time it'll speed up, but accuracy is more important than... Now if you're in a position where you can play and there's nobody around to hear you, then do what you want. Have fun with it. Just go crazy. But if there's anybody around to hear you, please be careful on... Be sensitive to what they're listening to and don't go nuts. It'll sound fine and fun to you, and it'll sound like complete garbage to them. As far as the articulation goes, of course, the only thing they give you is the accents. And once you get to know it, you can add staccatos. I usually do that one. I'll slur those in a second. I'll do accents on our staccatos on these when I feel like it. Doesn't say anything. I can do what I want. They've left it wide open as far as interpretation goes. This is second line on page 45. I can put staccatos in there if I want. It's an interpretive thing. So experiment with the articulation and interpretation. Try different things out. Explore it and see what you think what it is. Now they add a little bit of pedal there at the end. The last measure. If you want to add the pedal, you go right ahead. Just push the pedal down right after you play the notes or with them. And lift the pedal up with the fingers there at the end. I'm not going to show the pedal. They only showed it there. And you don't really need it. You can play it fine without a... See the retardando? Slow down a bit. You want pedal? That's all right. It's a different sound. You have to experiment. I would not use pedal anywhere else in this piece. Just leave it there because you can do a bunch of staccatos in here if you want, and that really adds to it. I like to play it with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. Not going to do the dynamics or any of that. So I'll give us 4 counts. Let's try it together. 1 and 2 and ready and go and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and hold off. There is a duet part for this. I'd like to play that, and you can play what we just played, but we're going to speed this up quite a bit. So make sure you can play this pretty well before you try it. So we're going to go about 1 and 2 and ready here. So make sure you can play it that fast before you try it. And remember, the duet part's different than yours, so you have to focus on what you're doing, but listen to the duet to stay with it. So here we go. I'll give us 4 counts. You can play it right where it's written. You don't have to move anywhere. It's fine. 1, 2, ready and go, and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold off.